Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about the Song of Achilles. Here it is, in my home, and now on your camera, or on your YouTube, I don't know. But it was written by Miss Madeline Miller. This is her breakout book. It took her about 10 years to write it. Her inspirations, according to the book, I believe, are the Iliad and the Odyssey mainly. The Song of Achilles features a large list of characters, so when I was writing down all the characters, I mainly focused on the characters that we either get to spend the most time with or the characters that directly impacted the plot by their actions in a severe way. I tried to pick the best amalgam of the two and sort of put them into a list to go through it. So I'm going to read through the characters that I thought were the most important, and kind of give you like a little blurb of their mythology, like their Greek mythos. And then we're going to talk about the book and its themes and everything else. So let's start with the characters. The first character, and the character that we get to spend the most time with, is Patroclus. He is listed as the companion to Achilles in the Iliad. The next character that we get to spend time with is, of course, Achilles. Achilles is described as the best warrior of his time, and he is eventually killed during the Trojan War by Hector with the aid of the god Apollo. Next character that we get to spend time with is Thetis. She is a sea nymph, and she was prophesied to have a son that would be greater than his father. And both Zeus and Poseidon, upon hearing this, who were both pursuing Thetis romantically, panicked and sort of made sure that she married a mortal. So she was eventually sold out to the king of the Myrmidons, Peleus. Peleus was told where she would bathe, and he was instructed to hold her no matter how much she changed her shape. So effectively, Thetis was raped into marriage with Peleus, and she is the mother of Achilles. Next character is Briseis. She was captured by the Greeks during the Trojan War and was offered up as a war prize, and Achilles claimed her. Next character is Odysseus. He's the king of Ithaca, known for his intelligence and strategy, and he is a favorite of the goddess Athena. Next character is Agamemnon. When his brother Menelaus lost his wife Helen to Paris, he commanded the entire Greek army during the Trojan War. The next character is Didymia, known as the Princess of Skyros. When Achilles was hidden by his mother Thetis in her kingdom, she discovered him, married him, and had a child with him. Next character is Chiron. He's known to be the most civilized of all the centaurs. He's known to have taught such heroes as Helios, Jason, Asclepius, and Achilles. Next is Peleus, king of the Myrmidons, father to Achilles, known to be so pious that the gods granted him his wife, Thetis, a sea nymph. Final character is Neoptolemus, son of Achilles, known for his fiery red hair. He helped win the Trojan War after Achilles was killed by Hector. So now we're going to talk about the book itself. I'm going to try and go through how it's structured and the things that I like and the themes that I like and then the things that I don't like, without giving too much away to you guys about the plot. First thing is that everything in the book is sort of structured through the story of Patroclus. Achilles is a main character in the book, but he is not the main character. Patroclus is the main person that we see everything through. He's the sort of vessel that the story is carried through. He was originally a prince, not loved by his father. And he is exiled from his kingdom after he accidentally murders another child, at which point he meets Achilles and the story sort of begins in earnest. So things that I liked about Song of Achilles, this section was very easy to write. First thing is language. Um, Everything in the environment is sort of an echo of Patroclus's feelings as you're going through the book. I never feel like I'm being dictated what Patroclus is feeling so much as I'm sort of living it with him, and I really like that. Next thing I like is the character arc, particularly of Achilles. Even though he's not my favorite character, he goes from this sort of unburdened, happy, sort of guileless, straightforward character to this sort of self-possessed, prideful, and then grief-stricken mess. So he really sort of develops and changes drastically throughout the story. Last thing that I really liked about this book was the suspense. It's handled really well. There were many moments where I felt like I was sort of turning the page in either dread or just total anticipation of what's going to happen next. Particularly in scenes between Patroclus and Thetis. She feels kind of like a cloud sort of hanging through this whole story. Also, when the prophecy is sort of revealed towards the end of the book, that also kind of filled me with a constant feeling of just total dread. I really felt like I needed to know what would happen throughout reading the book. Things that I didn't like. There's only one thing that I'm kind of unsure of as far as this book is concerned, and it's with my favorite character, so I don't know if it's criticism or just like an observation, or I'm not even sure if it's a negative or positive thing. It's just something that I wanted to bring up. Patroclus does a lot of growing as a character during his childhood and then in his adulthood. There's a portion of the book where I really worried about Patroclus because it seemed like he stopped becoming a character and became a storyteller, which is difficult because I know Patroclus is both. Patroclus is meant to be a sort of vessel for the story of Achilles and his own character. And I felt like there was a little trouble combining those two in the middle. I feel like when Patroclus grows as a man, it's because Achilles is busy, but it's also because the plot needs him to grow, and so he grows very quickly. I know the Trojan War is a 10-year war, so in reality, Patroclus is growing over time, but it feels like he sort of becomes a person very quickly, and that might just be something that I felt. I also know that when we are in love, as Patroclus is completely in love with Achilles through this entire story, surprise, this is a romance novel, actually, that you sort of lose yourself. And I feel like Patroclus gets more than a little lost in Achilles to the point where he doesn't evolve a personality for a long time. But that's just a concern that I had about the character. It works one way and in another. It sort of demonstrates how love sort of consumes us sometimes, and how it sort of squashes our ability to grow because we become lost in another person. You can read it that way, or you can be somewhat perturbed by it, like I was. I liked Patroclus a lot as a character, but I wish he had more time to grow, and that we saw more of him, I guess. I don't know. It's such an odd thing to want because he is throughout the whole story, and you sort of feel him throughout the whole story.